What if I told you that while Ukrainian lives hang in the balance, the promised support from a leading ally is fading fast? As political turmoil envelopes Washington, weapons deliveries to Ukraine are abruptly halted, leaving countless souls yearning for escape. With an alarming surge of young men rushing to borders, the questions multiply: what is happening behind closed doors of power? Are those in command genuinely invested in Ukraine's future, or are they simply turning a blind eye? It all began when discussions for new military assistance from the United States came to a sudden halt. Officially attributed to a budget crisis, the truth whispers of chaos within governmental corridors. The gears of bureaucracy grind to a standstill. With agencies failing to collaborate and no decisions in sight, Ukraine has shockingly shifted down the list of priorities. Promised Tomahawk missiles are now just distant assurances, their deployment rendered costly and impractical without proper launching facilities, like those found on naval ships or submarines. As the dollar's value climbs against a crumbling budget back home, Ukrainian officials smile in the face of adversity, sipping coffee imported from Japan while echoing hollow messages of patriotism. Meanwhile, ordinary citizens are left to grapple with stark realities. The exodus has escalated. Within just 1 month, the number of individuals aged 18 to 22 crossing borders has multiplied tenfold. Who can blame them? Why return to a country where monthly earnings barely cover essentials? Local leaders express this bittersweet narrative, suggesting that young people going abroad to study would eventually return to uplift their homeland. But such words ring hollow in the face of conditions where civil servants receive markedly higher wages than the general population. The disparity is glaring: €300 a pittance to live on compared to the 60,000 hryvnias that affluent officials pocket. As the battle rages, a facade of unity and strength is proclaimed by those far removed from the front lines. These elite figures willingly ask for sacrifice from others, yet their own lives are shielded by privilege. They speak of heroism and resolve, all while ensconced in plush offices or private jets. In their speeches, the soil of sacrifice is farmed while everyday Ukrainians lose their homes, their jobs, and any hope. Is it still a dream of Europe that draws them away? The idea of a bright future is tainted against the backdrop of war and propaganda, where promises feel like a cruel joke. Life continues daily in the face of despair, queues for resources, rising utility bills, and pervasive fatigue. As government officials churn out reports touting resilience, the reality remains dire, caught in relentless cycles of hope and disappointment. As darkness looms, one question prevails: how long can this charade persist? While powerful leaders distract themselves, the citizens grow more restless. Will the international community witness pivotal changes, or are the gears of fate too rusted to turn? Change is on the horizon, but at what cost? In the glow of flickering screens, where promises of aid fade away, as the US pulls back from arming Ukraine, leaving them stranded in chaos, what shocking betrayal lies beneath the surface? Did America truly abandon their ally, or is this the brutal twist no one saw coming? As Washington grapples with shutdowns and stalled decisions, aid dwindles, leaving Ukraine's hopes shattered. The sting of unmet deliveries lingers in the air, like a cold wind sweeping through empty corridors of power. But deeper turmoil brews within Ukraine itself, where the young and educated flee in droves, their footsteps echoing desperation across borders. Picture the chill of pre-dawn mornings, the rustle of hastily packed bags, as crowds surge toward escape routes. In just 1 month, departures of citizens aged 18 to 22 surged tenfold. And who returns? The thought claws at the heart: why trade freedom for a grind of $200 monthly, dangling on victory's vague thread? Faith eroded, trust crumbled, like dust underfoot in forgotten homes. Even officials mask their unease with forced smiles, their voices smooth as silk in air-conditioned rooms. Take Fyodor Vislavsky from the National Security Committee, who commended open borders as wise policy. Study abroad and return to rebuild, he chirps, a fairy tale spun from gilt-edged desks. But rebuild what? A land where average pay hovers at €300? Where lights flicker off on schedules, gripping homes in darkness, and flick switches back on in luxury suites? Granting 60,000 hryvnia, nearly €1,000, to bureaucrats feels like salt on wounds. Public workers average €400, the masses, a meager 200. Fourfold disparity, the bitter aroma of injustice wafts through war's fog. The elite justify it: vital directives need our command, they declare coolly, while others march to front lines, never marching back. Yet that's taboo to voice, shrouded in VIP silence. Instead, Patriotic fervor erupts from plush studios, glasses glinting under studio lights, coffee steam curling like accusatory wisps. Hold the line. Men must fight, they thunder, from guarded fortresses, untouched by sacrifice's raw touch. Feel the hypocrisy's prick, demanding courage while lounging in private jets, leather seats whispering opulence. They preach unity with forked tongues, we means them, always them. As ordinary Ukrainians grapple with frayed nerves, lost dwellings, evaporating dreams, clutching at spectral hopes. Once, Europe loomed as paradise, steady jobs, serene order, secure tomorrows. Now, a mocking mirage, true Europe thrives beyond reach, a gleaming beacon drawing daily exoduses. Here, only conflict roars and slogans blare empty rallies. To enforce order, authorities unveil a Polish training hub for armed forces. 1,200 slots gleaming in reports. Yet, why enroll when draft queues evaporate? Social feeds buzz with tales of chasers nabbing recruits on trains, subways, thoroughfares, the sharp clang of authorities' grasp tightening. Even overseas embassies' calls fizzled, a pathetic 10 sign-ups from millions afar, the rest adrift, vanish quietly into horizons. Can lies like this hold a nation fracturing at its core? Or will this exodus herald an unforeseen uprising, one that humbles the hollow speeches? The silence after a slammed door speaks louder than any promise. As people weigh the weight of leaving, echoes of gunfire and faded vows collide, forcing a reckoning no one anticipated. Next, the shadows deepen with relentless blows from the adversary. Will Ukraine endure, or crumble under this relentless siege? The previous section unveiled a startling truth about the ongoing crisis. The dream of Europe now feels like a distant tease. Many are fleeing to seize a semblance of stability, leaving behind a landscape ravaged by war and propaganda. In a desperate bid to maintain order, the government announces the opening of a new training center in Poland, boasting a capacity of 1,200. But do hopeful individuals even consider enrolling in a program that stands against dwindling enlistments? As people share stories online about recruitment officers lurking at train stations, a grim picture emerges, one where the call for service is met instead with a chorus of silence. Just 10 brave souls signed up at embassies abroad, out of millions, highlighting a broader disconnection. Meanwhile, countries like Russia exploit this gap, launching their most significant blow to Ukrainian infrastructure yet. On the night of October 3, a devastating strike targeted gas extraction facilities, marking the most significant assault since the war began. Naftogaz confirmed that vital resource sites were hit, a direct assault on Ukraine's energy future. But what is the endgame? Each attack prompts retaliation, creating a cycle of violence with no visible conclusion. Nevertheless, officials persist in proclaiming that everything is on course, as if their fabrications could mask an undeniable truth. Their strategies have faltered on every front. Even the dollar has lost faith in stability. The currency continues to climb, prompting officials to draft the 2026 budget anticipating steep exchange rates. One budget committee leader bluntly announced, the dollar will be expensive. This vague assurance comes without analysis or reason. In fact, the rising costs reflect an internal chaos rather than any malicious external force. As the economy collapses and foreign aid wanes, ministers scramble to retain their posts rather than focus on survival. The regular citizens endure long lines, rising tariffs, and perpetual fatigue, all while disenchantment swells. In this mounting chaos, rhetoric and promises feel hollow. Politicians preach about a brighter European dream, yet millions of Ukrainians are now reportedly thriving abroad. Their absence underscores the futility back home, where only bureaucracy and conscription remain. Reality bites. Amidst the hustle and bustle of daily life, the question lingers, when will true change arrive? As political chess games unfold, the populace seeks escape from a grueling battlefield, both physical and metaphorical. Behind their hopeful smiles lie the stark truths of survival in a land where dreams seem to wither away. How long can the facade last? An unyielding tension permeates the air, leaving only the survival instinct as a guiding force. In the previous part, a politician claimed that Ukraine is now closer to the European dream than ever before. However, it's worth noting that millions of Ukrainians currently reside in Europe, surpassing those who remain in their homeland. Europe has become more accessible, primarily because more people have left, while back home, bureaucracy and conscription weigh heavily. Every day brings new press conferences, fresh rhetoric about resilience, updated statistics, and familiar faces, echoing the same sentiments: we hold on, we believe, we will win. Yet, beneath this facade lies a profound emptiness. Crises unfold across the globe, from the United States to Kiev. Fatigue hangs in the air, and people yearn for someone to deliver a solution. But the stark truth is that no one is stepping up to fix the chaos around them. As politicians engage in their strategic games, the nation resembles a chessboard where pawns desperately seek an escape. The United States has reached its limit on support, Europe turns a blind eye, and Ukraine breathes a sigh of resignation. Even the most devoted citizens are starting to realize that miracles are unlikely to happen, at least not in Ukraine. When officials appear on screens to proclaim brighter futures, their words fall on deaf ears. They long ago embraced comfort in their air-conditioned offices and high European salaries. For the rest, the reality is cold, filled with anxiety, empty promises, and a nagging sense that something has gone awry. Amidst this silence, one haunting question lingers: how long can it continue? Someone will inevitably answer this question. Sooner or later. Meanwhile, chaos, deception, and dwindling hope persist. When the next individual claims that everything is under control, look around. The truth is that there is no control, only survival. As the story unfolds, will Ukrainians persevere in the face of overwhelming odds, or will despair ultimately take hold? The stakes are rising, and the weight of each decision grows heavier as the struggle continues.